Welcome to ESPN's College Football presented by Kay Jewelers. We come to you from a cold and wet Michigan Stadium, but the fans still turning out to see their Wolverines, who had a big win last week at Minnesota to snap a 5-game losing streak. Atop the Big Ten standings, it's the other team from Michigan. Michigan State is number 1. They are off this week, have a huge game next week at Penn State. Northwestern already bowl eligible. Michigan has had its 33-year bowl streak snapped with this losing season. And we welcome you to Ann Arbor, Pam Ward, along with Ray Bentley. Now, Northwestern has had to use a backup quarterback in Mike Kafka because C.J. Bachér has been out with a hurt hamstring the last couple of weeks. They're going with Bachér today.
Yeah, C.J. is back, and he is the more proficient of the two quarterbacks. Very accurate, throwing the quick passing game around the perimeter. But I think they're going to need Mike Kafka today because he is an ace at running the football. 300 yards on the ground in his last 2 starts. They're going to need that in this kind of weather. Now, on the other side, the Michigan Wolverines start a youngster as well. Nick Sheridan making just his 3rd career start, his 2nd consecutive. He played very well against Minnesota last week, and I think he'll continue to do so as his focus has really increased.
Sheridan, a great story, a former walk-on. There's his head coach in his first season. Rich Rodriguez has hit some road bumps, but they did look very impressive last week as they're trying to avoid the first 8-loss season in the history of this great program. 129 years old. There is 33-year-old Pat Fitzgerald in his 3rd season in charge of the Wildcats as they are going after their first 8-win season since 2000 when they last tied for the Big Ten title. Weather is a factor, Ray. You're an old-school linebacker. Would you like to play in this mess? It's cold and we might get snow.
This would be outstanding because it slows everybody else down, and it made me faster because I had these big old feet. They didn't call me a mutter for nothing.
There you go. The temperature continuing to drop here. It was in the low 40s when we got here a couple of hours ago. Right now, rain changing to snow later on in the day. There won't be any mud here because we're thankful that there's field turf at this stadium. The fans are all charged up. It is senior day. 16 seniors playing their final game in the maize and blue for the Wolverines. Not quite the senior season that they had envisioned. They can salvage a big piece of something if they're able to go to Columbus next week and upset the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and they've made this transition. Rich Rodriguez feels like they've really done the things they need to do throughout practice from Sunday to Friday, and then it started to happen on Saturday last week, and this will be a good test to see if it continues in that manner.
Jason Gingell, one of the 16 seniors for the Wolverines, kicks it off. We are underway. And the ball is taken by Stephen Simmons, a running back for Northwestern inside the 5. And he is stacked up right before the 20-yard line. That's a 16-yard return on the kick as Michael Williams, a backup safety, made the stop. C.J. Bachér did miss the last couple of games, Minnesota and also Ohio State. He is a senior for this Northwestern team, has been very proficient passing the ball, but you see that too many interceptions for touchdowns in his career.
That's been the knock on C.J. throughout his career and going through this season with 10 touchdown passes and 11 picks in his action so far this season.
He is down to, Northwestern down to its 3rd string running back. A whistle before the first play even gets going.
False start. Offense, number 89, 5 yards. The down remains first.
That is Josh Rooks, one of the super backs for Pat Fitzgerald. And even in warm-ups today, Ray, we saw some of the Northwestern Wildcats a little jumpy out there.
Yeah, they had some false starts in warm-ups, and they were dropping shotgun snaps. I think it'll be real important today to hang on to that wet football. You might see them go up under center, which is not what they're used to.
1st and 15. Bachér over the middle. Completes it for about a 5-yard gain to Brendan Mitchell, another one of those super backs, kind of like an H-back in this offense. Impact players, we do expect to see Mike Kafka, who is a better running quarterback than Bachér. Ross Lane in the top 10 in several categories in Northwestern history. And then there's Eric Peterman, another senior.
And Eric Peterman is a dynamic, multi-dimensional type of guy. He's throwing a touchdown pass this year. When they go to trick plays, Peterman's usually involved.
One of the captains on this team. 2nd and 10, first run of the day. Stephen Simmons, who gets outside for about a 3-yard gain. Obieze makes the tackle for Michigan. At the top of your screen, you will see the starting lineups for the offense right now for Bachér and his mates. Tyrell Darrell Sutton is out with the wrist injury. Omar Conte, who backed up Sutton, has a knee injury, and he is out for the rest of the year. They hope to have Sutton back for their bowl game, but right now it's Simmons in the backfield.
And Simmons showed a few things last week. He's a shorter guy. He can hide behind that line and pop out.
3rd and 7. Michigan rushes 4, and that pass is picked off. Intercepted by Stevie Brown, and Brown is pushed out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. We talked about Bachér, and sometimes those interceptions come in at the worst time, and here's an example.
This is a classic C.J. Bachér interception where he throws it into a crowd. He's trying to hit Rasheed Ward, and he's got double coverage. The safety over the top, the linebacker underneath. And watch, Bachér looks at it the entire time and then leads it out a little too quickly, and Stevie Brown, he's right where he needs to be, cutting the route. Azay, the linebacker, underneath, and that's just a mental mistake, a little rust on C.J. Bachér as he hasn't played in the last couple of weeks.
2nd career interception for Stevie Brown, and he took it back 25 yards. For Michigan in terrific shape. It's first possession of the game, 1st and goal from the 8. Sheridan, the quarterback, Michael Shaw, the tailback. And Shaw goes right up the middle and is stopped just short of the 5-yard line, picked up 3. Brad Phillips, who will make a lot of tackles for Northwestern, in on the stop. We will not see Brandon Minor today. He is out, has not even put on his pads and his football uniform today. He has been banged up all year, but hurt his shoulder last week at Minnesota.
And that gives Michael Shaw his first start in his career. He showed some things last week against Minnesota.
With a career-high 71 yards. Play fake, Sheridan almost has that picked off, and Nate Williams, who has been starting at middle linebacker with Malcolm Arrington's injury, got a hand on it. Mark Mudros, the fullback, the intended receiver. Nick Sheridan, quite a story. His dad used to be an assistant coach at Michigan. Now the linebackers coach with the New York Giants, won himself a Super Bowl ring last year, and Sheridan, the former walk-on, has taken over and looked good last week.
Right, Calvin McGee, the offensive coordinator, said his focus is what is really improved. When he first got the starting job, he started the opener against Utah. He kind of got overwhelmed and caught up in the whole thing. His second go-around has been much better.
Stephen Threet is available. He was not last week because of post-concussion syndrome. That pass into the end zone. Darrell Stoneham, one of the 10 true freshmen who played for Michigan, was the intended receiver, but Sherrick McManus got in the way.
McManus ran the route for Stoneham. Michigan loves the slant route down in this area of the field. Bam, there it's coming. And you see McManus with the inside position and then the drive on the ball, undercutting the route. An outstanding play by the aggressive McManus.
So a 1st and goal from the 8 amounted to not much. Casey Lapata, your reigning Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week, because he hit all 5 of his field goals last week against Minnesota as a 23-yarder. Chip shot really right in the middle of the field. And that kick is blocked. Northwestern's Corey Wooten, its very talented defensive end, able to get a hand on it, and the game remains scoreless.
And Wooten's 6'7", and he's got some leap to him, and he got the big hand up and knocked that one away. And that's the kind of play that can excite a football team and get things going. Maybe you were cold, maybe you were wet, maybe you weren't quite ready to play, and all of a sudden you get a big play like this, a blocked field goal from one of your stars on defense to junior Corey Wooten, and maybe this wakes up this Northwestern football team.
Northwestern coming off a loss to Ohio State last week, 45-10. They scored on their first possession and then really stalled. Mike Kafka in early on the 2nd possession of the game for Northwestern. Their better running quarterback is in. And he takes it, a designed run all the way, lunges forward for about a 3-yard gain. Obiase with yet another stop. There's Corey Wooten doing the job. And we met him earlier this year. Maybe the biggest hands of any human.
Yeah, he does have some large hands. Shook hands with him, and it was up to my elbow.
Yeah, and a terrifically talented player, really starting to come into his own as a defensive end, redshirt junior. What do you think about this, Ray? Bachér is in after just one play with Kafka.
I think it's all right. You know, you can get a little predictable doing it, and Michigan obviously expects pass here.
Kafka was was a bit shaken up actually on that play, and there's a play that'll shake you up as Simmons is nailed by Jonas Mouton. 3rd and 7 coming up. Kafka limped off the field after that designed run, and Bachér came right back in. Let's go back to that play.
This could be a big blow to Northwestern. Kafka, you see him, he's getting chased down here at the end, breaks those tackles, and then tries to stretch it out there and get a little extra yard as Obiase made the stop. But that's not a good sign.
Bachér double and triple clutched and threw it incomplete near the 1st down 6 to Ross Lane, his intended receiver. He did have a receiver in Jeremy Ebert, the true freshman, earlier, but decided to wait for Lane. And here comes Northwestern's punting unit.
Lane has to make that catch. The throw is a little bit behind him, and it's wet and all those excuses. But that one would have been a 1st down. And Bachér did a nice job working his way, finding the alley to make the throw, but his receiver didn't help him out.
Artavius Odoms, who is the best punt returner in Big Ten games, as Stephen Demos sends a line drive towards him. That's a live football. Northwestern pounces on it, and they have it. Eric Peterman, the do-everything senior, got on the football, and Northwestern has it.
Boy, that's just a critical error by Martavius Odoms. He's got to get out of the way of this football. There's no way when it's coming hot like that that you try and handle that thing. You're not a third baseman. Let that thing go. And it cost him right there, and then a hustling Peterman gets it just before it goes out of bounds. Bam, right there.
Odoms, who is a very talented punt returner and also a wide receiver, made a mental mistake that time, and that play, as you might expect, is under official review to see if Peterman had control of the football before he went out of bounds.
And our replay official today is Jim Augustine. Spent 15 years in the Big Ten on the field, been up in the booth since 2001 when replay started in college football. And then Tom Herbert is the communicator. But here, that ball coming in hot, you see it bounces right off the leg of Odoms. Now he's trying to fight for it. It gets booted towards the sidelines. And right here, it's still in play when Peterman gets it. I think that's a recovery. And I can see why they would want to review this, because he did slide out of bounds after making the play. But watch when he gets his hands around the football. This thing is still going to be in the green area in the field of play right there. He's got it. He's in. Should be Northwestern football.
And that was David Orduba, backup cornerback, who came in and got close to Odoms, so Odoms was unable to pick up his muff. And here's the decision.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Northwestern recovered, 1st down.
So in just over 3 minutes of play, we have had an interception, a blocked field goal, and now a fumble on a punt return. You have to wonder if the weather is a factor. It's windy, it's rainy, it's kind of crummy out here.
Yeah, the weather is definitely a big factor. I think that's just the beginning of the escapades here.
So Northwestern, with the turnover, has the ball 1st and 10 from Michigan's 39-yard line. Bachér still the quarterback. Here's Simmons going around the right side of his offensive line for a nice 5-yard gain. Charles Stewart, whose brother Sidney is a wide receiver on the other side of the ball for Northwestern, made the stop.
You see Stephen Simmons, he's the 3rd string running back for this Northwestern team. They've really been bitten by the injury bug, but he's come on and showed some good things, and they really like him. But the depth behind him is really unproven.
In fact, Jacob Schmidt, who's behind him, has only 2 carries in his career. Bachér zips it out, pass complete to Eric Peterman, and Peterman is out of bounds, but ran for not a good start for Rich Rodriguez's crew.
Now, those are the kind of things that will drive a coach, crazy a little bit. unforced type errors that make a drive all of a sudden go from around the 30 and bam, all of a sudden you're inside the 15 knocking on the door.
1st and 10 from the 13. Simmons tries the right side of the line, and he is wrapped up for little to no gain by Terrence Taylor. Taylor, one of the seniors on this football team. All 4 of the front 4 are returning starters for Michigan. And here are some of those key injuries, none more so than Tyrell Sutton. They are hoping to get Tyrell back in time for the bowl game. Conte's done for the year. Malcolm Arrington, their middle linebacker, out for the year. And they're going to miss Vince Brown, a very good rushing defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice little list of top players for Northwestern that they sure could use.
2nd and 9 from the 12. Bachér in trouble, goes down. Loses 10 yards. Tim Jamison, number 90, getting in there for the sack. Tim had a sack last week in that win at Minneapolis.
And he just bull rushed Al Netter, put him on skates and right back to the quarterback. And it's going to be difficult for the offensive line today against those bull rushes as they try to plant their feet. They're going to slide through this wet turf, and that's what happened there, the power of Tim Jamison.
Jamison with impressive numbers throughout his career in Ann Arbor. 3rd and 18. Northwestern plays it safe with Simmons, and it works. Simmons breaks a 3rd and 18 into the end zone for a touchdown. So you think Pat Fitzgerald's going a little bit conservatively there. His offensive coordinator, Mick McCall, and Simmons breaks it for 6.
Well, when we talked to Mick McCall, he said, we're waiting for Simmons to just pop out the other end, and that's what he does right here. He's a smaller guy, stands 5'8". They list him at 185. He broke the tackle from Stevie Brown, breaks another tackle from Charles Stewart, and into the end zone.
Amado Villarreal adds the extra point. Missed tackles has been one of the problems for this Michigan defense all season long. Rich Rodriguez has lamented about it, as has his defensive coordinator, Scott Schaefer. And a big missed tackle led to this touchdown. Great effort by the offensive line and Simmons, but this is what set it up. The muffed punt by Odoms, picked up by Eric Peterman, and turned into 7 Wildcats. The NASCAR season comes to a close tomorrow. Good start for Pat Fitzgerald's group. An early interception by C.J. Bachér ended in a blocked field goal, and then a pickup of a fumble. On the other side, ended up with Simmons running the ball in from 21 yards out on a 3rd and 18. Amado Villarreal keeping it on the field turf. Fielded by Boubacar Sissoko. And he is stopped down after a 15-yard return.
Well, let's go back to that touchdown, Pam. Here's Al Netter. He's the big offensive tackle. Watch him come on this angle and block out Obi Aze. Keeps him, Netter just had given up the sack. He comes back on the next play, pins his man inside, creates the scene. Simmons sees it, breaks a couple of tackles. Poor angle on the tackling from Stevie Brown, and a nice run from Simmons.
Simmons with his first touchdown of the season as the rain is starting to turn into snow here in Ann Arbor.
Is that good news?
I think so. Sheridan to Shaw, depends on your point of view. Shaw stopped by Kevin Mims after a 6-yard gain. Impact players for the University of Michigan. Michael Shaw, he is starting for Brandon Minor, who is out today with the hurt shoulder. Martavius Odoms muffed the punt, but still very dangerous on special teams and as a wide receiver. And Greg Matthews, another receiver.
Greg Matthews had a huge day last week against Minnesota. He's finally healthy.
Career high 79 yards for him last week. Shaw picks his way close to the 44-yard line, and the first down sticks. Nate Williams, the middle linebacker for Northwestern, with the stop. Across the top of your screen, you see the starting lineup on the offensive side of the ball for Michigan, and you see some very hardy, devoted football fans standing in this mess.
You got that right. You gotta love it if you're out here today.
More snow is expected to fall throughout the afternoon. 3rd and a very short 1. 3rd and inches. Sheridan keeps it, gets a block from Shaw. Plenty of room, and he's into Northwestern territory for the first down. Another tackle for Williams, but it's a 9-yard gain.
And what happened is the Michigan offense spread out the Northwestern defense. And you're going to look and see the numbers of people in the box here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 in the box. And Michigan has 6 blockers, including that Bachér. They had a hat for a hat.
First down on the 47 for Sheridan, who throws it incomplete to Odoms, who couldn't get his hands on the football. Already we have seen the weather play a factor in this football game.
Well, and you're going to continue to see it. And today already, in very short time, not even half of a quarter, we've had the muff punt, which Northwestern got the 7 points off of, the interception, the blocked field goal. I think it's just beginning, and especially when the snow starts to hit a little bit more.
Yep, the weather appears to be deteriorating. Here on 2nd and 10. Shaw cuts it inside and doesn't get much room at all. John Gill, a senior from California, dropped him, in fact, for a 2-yard loss.
Nice combination of the defensive lineman Wooten getting the penetration, forcing the cutback into Gill, who fought off a couple of blockers. John Gill is a really good football player, and him combined with Wooten gives this Northwestern football team one of the best defensive lines. In fact, when we talked to Rich Rodriguez, that's one of the first things he talked about. And then Calvin McGee, the offensive coordinator, he echoed those sentiments.
Especially about Corey Wooten. He's number 99, the defensive end on the right side. 3rd and 11. Sheridan has everybody covered downfield. He finally tried to get it off to Matthews, but that falls incomplete. Good job by the Wildcats. Sheridan 0 for 4 today through the air.
And you're going to see the coverage, the safeties over the top, taking away the things on the backside. There was nowhere for Sheridan to go with it, and then he got forced out of the pocket on just a 3-man rush. Northwestern was able to get pressure.
Zoltan Mesko in for the punt. Brendan Smith lets it go, and it's touchdown just outside the 10-yard line. A 36-yard punt for Mesko, who's the best punter in the Big Ten, but well placed. Bachér and company have to start from just outside the 10-yard line, leading 7-0.
College football is presented by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
The very famous winged helmets of the University of Michigan getting all shined up and polished. They've been using them since 1938. Fitz Chrysler came over from Princeton, and it is a classic look, those uniforms.
Yeah, and to get those helmets clean, they like to throw a little mop and glow on them. That gives them the really nice shine.
Whatever they used did a good job beating up the moisture, too. Looks like they got a nice wax job on there. 1st and 10 for Northwestern. Bachér still at quarterback, and he goes down immediately. Brandon Graham drops him for a 1-yard loss. Now, after the interception, Pat Fitzgerald talked to his quarterback.
And Bachér, he's giving the pointing at somebody else, saying, hey, you know, it was one of those other guys. That's a bad sign. When you see palms up and shoulders shrugging from your football team, that's a bad sign. Now, a good sign is Mike Kafka running around there on the sidelines. He played one play, limped off the field, and I think they really could use him in this type of weather as a running threat.
Kafka ran for 217 yards a couple weeks ago against Minnesota, a Big Ten record for a quarterback. Another loss on a running play. Simmons dropped for a 2-yard loss. Let's go to Wendy Nix in the studio. Good start in that Ohio State-Illinois game, and Michigan with a good defensive stand here. Simmons picked up 4 yards. Michael Williams made the stop, but not nearly enough for the first down. Northwestern forced to punt pretty deep in its territory.
The thing Michigan did there was get off of blocks. And when we spoke to Scott Schaefer, their defensive coordinator, you know, and twice now we've talked to him, and that's the first thing he says, the #1 key, my guys got to get off blocks better. They got off them there.
Stephen Demos punting in his end zone. Odoms around midfield for Michigan. Demos bobbled it momentarily and then was able to get off a wobbler with a very good Northwestern bounce. It is touchdown inside the 40-yard line. That could have been disastrous for the Wildcats, but Demos kept his composure, got the kickoff, and the Wolverines have the ball when we come back. It is very snowy and rainy and cold in Ann Arbor. Northwestern with a 7-0 lead. Stephen Simmons with a 21-yard touchdown run after a muffed punt set Northwestern up in good field position. Nick Sheridan has not completed a pass yet. The Michigan quarterback takes off and gets about an 8-yard gain. Brad Phillips made the stop. A lot of miscues so far, Ray.
Well, this one was nothing to do with the weather, just a bad decision by C.J. Bachér. And then a big play from Corey Wooten blocking the field goal after that interception. And then we had the punt that Martavius Odoms made a grievous error in trying to field, recovered by Peterman, and the Northwestern Wildcats scored the touchdown after that.
Simmons on a 3rd and 18 ran 21 yards for the score. That's the first carry for Carlos Brown, picked up 4 yards and the first down. Brown, a running back who's considered to be very versatile, was hurt in the spring, and really the coaches at Northwestern thought that Brown and Brandon Miner would make a good 1-2 punch, but Brown has not been able to get on the field.
Yeah, he's finally healthy. He's missed the last 4 weeks. They were counting on him to play a big role, but the injuries kept him out.
His first carry resulted in a first down. Sheridan to Odoms, and Martavius loses the football. It goes out of bounds. Michigan regains possession, but Odoms is the guy who muffed the punt earlier, and that time fumbled the football.
Perfectly called play into the teeth of a blitz. They get it out there to Odoms, and you see he's going to be hit right there by Brian Peters, and that one is a weather deal. That ball is slick right there. He's not putting it away that good, but Peters came in and hit the arm, knocking the ball loose. Fortunately for Michigan, it goes out of bounds.
And you know where Odoms is from Florida, so he's not used to this stuff, right?
You think?
He's got that. He's got the hood on under his helmet, and appears to be struggling in the cold weather. 2nd and 2. That was the first completion for Sheridan today. Right back to Carlos Brown, who lunges a little bit short of the first down.
And the thing they did to Odoms when they got him on the sidelines, they're like, all right, you've dropped too many. The gloves are coming off. And they'll let you wear gloves, and sometimes that's a good thing. But when you start dropping the ball with the gloves on, the coaches will demand that you take them off and you try it freehand.
So Odoms, when he does come back into the game, will not have the gloves on. I formation on a 3rd and 1. Brown gets it and is hit behind the line of scrimmage. Does not get the first down. Prince Quateng, a senior linebacker, one of the captains for Northwestern, headed that charge.
Great play by Quateng. It opened up for him. He shot through the window, went kind of what we call a back door, where you go behind a blocker to get up in there. And now it looks like Michigan's going to go for it here on this 4th.
4th and 1 from the 40-yard line of Northwestern.
I like it. You know, it ways to punt, I think, if you punt right here.
Sheridan has Carlos Brown behind him. Brown gets the ball and gets the first down. Spinning for the first down. Good block by the fullback, Mark Moondros, who was right in front of Brown. So a calculated risk that pays off for Rich Rodriguez.
And Coach Rodriguez compared Moondros to Owen Schmidt, a guy that he had over there at West Virginia, a guy you got to keep on the field because he makes plays, and he had the big block there.
Yeah, Schmidt's such a very vital part of that West Virginia offense. Brown again, this time around the left side. And a burst of speed sends him to another first down. Brian Peters makes the stop, but 11 yards downfield. Coach has beaten Alabama 2 times, 2 in a row now, right?
Yeah, and he'd like to get another one. He's under a little pressure there, which I think is ridiculous. He's done great things for that program.
Sheridan hanging on to it. Tackled again by Prince Quateng. Sheridan picking up 3 yards on the run.
Nick Sheridan has done a nice job these last couple of weeks running this Michigan offense. You know, when we spoke to Calvin McGee, he said the first time he got the job, it kind of went to his head a little bit. He was overwhelmed by it. The second time around, he's been much more focused.
Brown, huge hole. Carlos Brown inside the 10, where it will be 1st and goal for the Wolverines.
And Prince Quateng, he took that back door and made a big play earlier. This time he takes the back door and misses the play. He's inside too far. That opens it up for Brown. Here, see right there, the linebacker coming in, and then there's Quateng right there. He just took the inside angle, and you can't do that and live by that, because eventually you're going to get caught exactly like they did there. Brown finding the hole. No linebacker to fill. A nice play by Michigan.
17-yard gain. Here's the 10th play of the drive. Shaw now in at the running back position. Gets the football. Nate Williams making the stop along with Kevin Mims, but 3 more yards for the Wolverines. So Michigan has already taken the ball now well over 50 yards, and you see their red zone offense 10th in the Big Ten. Not good out of 11 teams.
No, you need better production than that, and that's been one of their biggest problems.
2nd and goal, Sheridan with Shaw to his left and 3 receivers to his left. Sheridan runs right into the end zone. Touchdown, Wolverines. Michael Shaw with a good block to help spring Sheridan for the score.
And it was a numbers game again. Michigan catching Northwestern with just 6 in the box. They get a great block from the running back Shaw. As Michigan late with a guy coming out on the field.
Casey Lapata for the extra point. Michigan drives 61 yards. 53 of those 61 yards came on the ground, including a conversion of a 4th and 1. Michigan has tied it up. Welcome back to Ann Arbor. Tied up now at 7 apiece between Michigan and Northwestern. Nick Sheridan, the quarterback, swung on a 3-yard touchdown run. Jason Gingell to kick it off for Michigan. In the waning seconds of the first quarter, Jeremy Ebert picks it up in the end zone. Northwestern starts from its 20.
Let's go back to that touchdown. I talked about the numbers. Michigan had a hat for a hat, but the key one was watch Shaw here. He's going to come and block Prince Quitang on this deal, and that's what's going to allow Sheridan the inside cut. Does a nice job setting up. Bam, right there. He lays the helmet on him. Sheridan basically runs over Shaw. Kind of squeezed tight through that hole, but he had enough room to score that touchdown.
And a good job keeping it on the ground in these rough weather conditions. Bachér completes it to Peterman. And Peterman knocked out of bounds after a 4-yard gain. 15 seconds left to go in the quarter.
Michigan did very well against the bubble screens of Minnesota last week. That was a key to their defensive performance, holding the Golden Gophers to under 200 yards in total offense. And in speaking with Scott Schaefer, he said, you know what, we were more aggressive and we believed our eyes. And when they see those things, bam, they go hit them quickly, and it's really paid off for them.
End of the quarter. In fact, Minnesota gained only 188 yards all day under Scott Schaefer's led defense. Second quarter coming up. Second quarter about to get underway in a 7-7 ball game. Stephen Simmons and Nick Sheridan have scored on rushes. Nick Sheridan's touchdown run, the first of his career. And Mike Kafka is back at quarterback for Northwestern. We've seen both he and Bachér. He's the better runner. And Kafka runs it for the first down on a 2nd down run. Brandon Harrison made the stop, and 2 weeks ago he was unbelievable, was Kafka, up in Minneapolis. 217 yards on the ground. That's a Big Ten record for any quarterback.
And he has deceptive speed. He doesn't, you don't think he's going that fast, but yet there he goes.
Simmons around the left side, stacked up, picks up a couple of yards as we get you back to the studio and Wendy Nix. Thank you, Wendy. Notre Dame has not beaten the team with a winning record all year. And they're trying to get it done in Baltimore today. Kafka again, right up the gut. Stopped a couple of yards short of the first down by Stevie Brown. Brown has an interception in this game today. So these are the kind of weather conditions we were saying before the game, Ray. We thought we'd see a lot of Kafka today, and this is one reason why. He was just terrific against Minnesota 2 weeks weeks ago.
Yeah, outstanding. Does a great job of reading the zone read play as far as whether to give it or keep it. And then he's deceptively fast. He's also a big, powerful guy. 6'3", 216-pounder. That's a pretty good load coming at you.
And look who's back in. C.J. Bachér on the 3rd and 2. High snap. Bachér gets it, gives it to Simmons, and Simmons will not get the first down. Stopped almost immediately by true freshman nose tackle Mike Martin. And Northwestern sends out his punt unit. Interesting on 3rd and 2, why would you take Kafka out? He's your runner.
I think you're trying to maybe have Michigan think it's pass because C.J. Bachér is in, and that'll create a seam for the run. But Michigan didn't buy into that one bit.
And we're hearing down from the sidelines now that Kafka might have gotten injured again, or at least shaken up again, as that punt is fair caught by Martavius Odoms, a 36-yard punt for Demos. Michigan with the football when we come back. Pictures of Michigan Stadium throughout the years. It is continuing to change, and they are renovating as we speak. The stadium project expected to be completed by August of 2010, and among the new things will be a new press box.
That'll be nice. Looking forward to that, although our view here is pretty good.
Michigan with the football. Nick Sheridan at quarterback. Last time they had the ball, they went 61 yards on 11 plays and capped it off with Sheridan's first career touchdown run. Boy, Sheridan almost had that one slip out of his hands. Recovered it. No gain. Nate Williams and John Gill in on the stop. Today's Aflac trivia question, now that you have seen Michigan Stadium throughout the years, which is, thank you, Doc, what is the oldest stadium in the Big Ten?
You got some old ones.
Yeah, you have 11 choices, and we'll have the answer coming up a little bit later on. 2nd and 10 for the Wolverines. Sheridan, a little pump fake, then takes it downfield. Matthews adjusts well and brings it in. Greg Matthews with the first down catch, picks up 23 big yards and is shaken up at the end of it.
And this is just Matthews going up, finding a way to make a play. And that's what his quarterback Sheridan gave him. Here's the look at it, the slant. It's a sluggo route, a slant and then a go. And because of the ability and the trust that that Sheridan has in Matthews, he'll throw it up there and let him just make a play. And that's the first deep shot by either team all day.
Good for 23 yards. Carlos Brown in at tailback. First down from the 45. Sheridan wings it out again, completing it to Darryl Stoneham. The true freshman picks up about 3.
This weather has had an effect on the ball game today in terms of passing. And look at these numbers right now. 49 combined pass yards on 5 of 11 between the two teams. Not what you'd expect from two teams that spread it out and really throw the ball a lot.
C.J. Bachér only 3 completions in 7 attempts and a pick on the other side. Carlos Brown hangs on to it, picks up 3 more. Kafka has not thrown a pass for Northwestern, the other quarterback we have seen for them. And Kafka continues ready to kind of try to get himself back onto the field here. Shake it up.
Yeah, in this kind of game, I think if you throw the ball up for grabs like you saw Sheridan do to Odoms, that does favor the offense in this kind of weather.
3rd and 4 now. Sheridan on the roll, has to get rid of it, fires it for the first down. Savoy going down to his knees to pick it up. That's a 6-yard gain. Caught some pressure from Brad Phillips.
Nick Sheridan is very good throwing on the run. He does an outstanding job. He's extremely accurate. And look at the cushion that McManus gave to Savoy over there on the side. That's a little too much.
Laterial Savoy, a junior from the state of Louisiana, picks up the first down. Sheridan right back to that same spot, and it's dropped by Savoy. The guy who just caught it drops one. Let's go back to Wendy Nix. Thigpen with all sorts of speed. He's a sprinter on Indiana's track team. Carlos Brown showing some speed and moves. Takes it downfield 8 yards. David Arnold got the stop.
And I'm impressed by the Michigan offensive line. You know, they picked it up last week against Minnesota, and they really won that battle of the trenches. And I think they're doing a heck of a job of staying on their blocks today.
They've had to use 5 different offensive line combinations because of various injuries. David Molt, number 50 right there in the middle of your picture, is really the anchor of that offensive line. He's starting as a redshirt freshman.
Holding, offense number 74, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
And as we praise the offensive line, they get a hold. John Ferrara, the left guard, number 74, called for the hold, but Molk really starting every game as a redshirt freshman as a center, and his coaches went out of their way to praise what he has done for this team.
And he was one of those guys that led the charge last week. He was outstanding in that ball game, really dominant, as Michigan was able to get a lot of runs through the middle of that offense.
Beat Minnesota 29-6. Very impressive on both sides of the ball for the Wolverines. 2nd and 17 after the hold. Sheridan throws it well above Greg Matthews' outstretched hands. So 3rd and 17 upcoming.
I think that one was tipped by Wooten. Tough to throw a quick screen over a 6'7" guy that has some athleticism.
Wooten already has a blocked field goal in this game. Northwestern history is 4th in sacks, and he is only a junior and really just started to come on this season, just scratching the surface of his potential.
Yeah, he's grown 4 inches since he came to school.
Unbelievable talent. 3rd and 17 for the Wolverines. Sheridan hands it off to Brown, and Carlos Brown runs very close to the first down, taken down by Sherrick McManus, who got him low. Very important where the spot is. But we saw Northwestern convert on a 3rd and 18 run play in which they scored a touchdown, and that was a 3rd and 17 run play for the Wolverines.
And Michigan unveiled this draw play against Minnesota a couple times last week, and it was very successful for them. Hadn't shown it prior to that. They come back to it again today and get some nice blocks, in particular from Ferrara. Pick it up.
First down. Brown escapes a tackle momentarily. Carlos Brown has come in. If you're just joining us, Brandon Miner will not play. He is out with a shoulder injury. And Brown now with 59 yards on the day, and to make it 61. And Northwestern only has 1 more yard total. 22 of those yards came on the touchdown run.
That's pretty good, and this is a guy that they really missed when he was injured. They were counting on him to carry a lot of the load this year, and having him back healthy. We haven't seen Sam McGuffey yet today.
2nd down, Sheridan completes it. Kevin Koger, the true freshman tight end, pushed out of bounds. Actually, now they're going to say it's an incomplete pass. Koger is usually the starting tight end, but Mike Massey, the senior, started today because it is senior day. And Koger went to his offense coordinator, Calvin McGee, and said, hey, why don't we start Massey today since it's senior day? And Calvin's like, I'm well ahead of you there, because he was going to do it
already
anyway.
Planning on it. And senior day, this is a big thing with Rich Rodriguez. He puts a lot into it and really emphasizes it.
3rd and 10. Sheridan rolling to his left. Completes it to Darryl Stoneham, but Stoneham is stopped about 3 yards short of the first down by Jordan Maben.
Well, and once again, Nick Sheridan throwing the ball accurately on the move. They're going to be about 4 yards short, 3 yards short of this first down, but Sheridan impresses me with his ability to throw the ball on the run and have great accuracy. Michigan's going to go for another one here, and I think it's a good call.
If you look where the flags are blowing, any kick would be into the wind right now. So they're going for it, but a timeout taken by Northwestern. It would have been a 43-yard field goal for Casey Lapata, but again, into a very stiff wind. Timeout taken, Michigan with a 4th and 3 when we return. We're here on the campus of the University of Michigan, a 7-all ball game between Michigan and Northwestern. Michigan trying to avoid its first ever 8-loss season. The timeout did nothing to change Rich Rodriguez's mind as they're going for it on 4th and 3.
They got Matthews singled up at the bottom.
Sheridan on the roll has it almost intercepted. That's 3 passes now that Northwestern has almost picked off. That time Brad Phillips couldn't come up with it, but it really doesn't matter all that much. In fact, by not intercepting it, they get better field position.
Yeah, and I like this matchup down here, but they run it the other way. You're going to have this cadre of receivers all going different directions, try and spread it out. And nice coverage by Brad Phillips, sitting in there and taking away the short game. Coach Fitz likes that one.
So instead of going for the field goal, they go for it on 4th down and don't complete it. Another sack dropped at the 20 is C.J. Bachér by Will Johnson. 6 yards on the loss. Johnson picks up the sack. We are in Ann Arbor. Northwestern already bowl eligible, trying to improve its bowl position in the Big Ten, taking on a Michigan team that is trying to win back-to-back games for the first time all season. Tied up at 7 apiece, Stephen Simmons with a 21-yard touchdown run for Northwestern. Nick Sheridan from 3 yards out from Michigan. But the Michigan defense continuing to be stout. Simmons dropped by Brandon Graham.
Terrence Taylor held the point of attack, and that allowed Graham to come in and make the play. And you see Michigan doing an excellent job of stopping the Northwestern run. And really, Kafka had one run for about 11 yards. That was the only time they busted it out, except for that touchdown. That was a surprise. That one popped out on him. Stephen Simmons popping it for the touchdown in that first early drive.
Simmons' touchdown run was for 21 yards. 3rd down. Simmons, nothing doing. Maize and blue all over him. Jonas Mouton among the Wolverines, who clog it up for no gain. And Northwestern with just 57 total yards on the day. 21 of them coming on the touchdown run. They have to punt again.
That Michigan front seven is playing very good football right now, picking up from where they left off last week. The defensive line handling the point of attack, getting it done.
Michigan stands at pretty good field position once again. Stephen Demos in to punt it. And it's blocked. It took a long time to punt it. It's blocked by Michael Williams and then taken into the end zone for the touchdown. Michigan with the touchdown on its special teams.
Ricky Reyes is the guy who got it in there.
Ricky Reyes, a wide receiver who plays exclusively on special teams, picks up the football and Michigan takes the lead. And Michael Williams got in on the block, Reyes got in on the football.
And Demos has been taking a lot of time on all of his punts today, and it finally caught up to him.
To attempt a field goal, does one better as he gets the extra point. Flag is on the field.
Stephen Demos, just a little walk in the park before he kicks that ball. He's got to expedite that process.
So Ricky Reyes, a walk-on, playing in only his 2nd career game, picks up the football and scores the go-ahead touchdown. Welcome back to Ann Arbor. Michigan has taken a 14-7 lead over Northwestern thanks to a special teams play, a block punt that has been taken in for a touchdown. On your left, Michael Williams, number 40, with the block, and Ricky Reyes on the right. Again, only his 2nd career game. The walk-on picked up the football and scored himself a touchdown. What a thrill that must be for him.
He's got a story to tell for the ages.
Stephen Demos, the punter for Northwestern, took a long time to get the ball off. Jason Gingell with the kickoff, taken by one of the up men for Northwestern. And Dan Piersa is ridden out of bounds. Let's go back to the block with Williams.
Yeah, this is nothing special by Michigan. These two guys right here, they're coming after it. But look at the time Demos takes. And then the ball, he kicks low. He's been kicking those low line drives all day, and he kicked it right into the guts of Michael Williams.
So a special teams mistake has led to the touchdown. Josh Rooks catches the ball, taken out of bounds as we go back to when that was for Iowa, knocking Penn State out of the ranks of the unbeatens. Northwestern's Andrew Brewer, who came to Northwestern as a quarterback and has been converted to a wide receiver, picked up nothing on that play. Mouton with the stop. A lot of miscues in this game. We do have some bad weather, but also some bad execution.
Well, we had the interception. That's really not a weather one. The blocked field goal, not a weather one. That one was a weather one. That one I don't think was a weather one. I think that was just a punter taking too much time.
3rd and 3 for Northwestern. Bachér, the quarterback, completes it for the first down and into Michigan territory. The ball caught by senior Ross Lane. And that quiets this crowd, which really started to get into the football game after the touchdown.
And Lane's at the top. You see he's just going to run a hitch route, little curl inside, stepping in front of the corner. Donovan Warren there, and a timely throw from Bachér.
Big first down to keep the football. Bachér zips it over the middle. Big hit. Boy, Jeremy Ebert got smacked right as he got his hands on the football by Stevie Brown. Brown has an interception today.
Boy, and Obieze is going to sleep not good tonight. Thinking about this one. Here he is, number 45, right in the middle, the underneath coverage. Watch this ball land right into his lap. Oh, come on, Obi. Grab that thing.
Obieze, the sophomore middle linebacker from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Some good football players have come out of that part of the country right here.
That's what I hear.
Obi just put both hands on his helmet. He's still upset with himself.
That's why he's on defense.
2nd down. Bachér. Peterman up the sideline, and they mark him out of bounds short of the first down. And we have received word, Ray, that Mike Kafka is out for the remainder of the game with a concussion for Northwestern. That's a huge blow for them. Kafka's especially on a day like this with the weather so bad, Kafka's such a very good running quarterback. Now it's Bachér the rest of the way.
And we saw the effectiveness of Mike Kafka in his limited action. And just the last 2 weeks, defenses have not been able to stop him. Now it's going to be C.J. Bachér, the senior. It's his ball game.
On 3rd and 2. Bachér keeps it himself and runs for the first down. Down to the 35-yard line. Brandon Harrison made the stop. Let's go back and take a look. Kafka in this game, 3 carries for 20 yards, and here's a hit. That might have been it.
Brandon Harrison come in there and laid some wood on him. And that also, you get the cumulative effect. When you are a runner as a quarterback, you're going to take a lot of shots, and you never know what happens when you take the big one.
Bachér showing that he could run a little bit, picked up 5 on that carry for first down. And now he throws it over the head of his intended receiver, Ross Lane. Lane was looking for an interference call. Didn't get it. Donovan Warren on the coverage.
That was one of those deals where Warren had the right to the space he was in, and trying to adjust to the ball, Ross Lane ran into him, and a good no call by this officiating crew.
Brings up 2nd and 10 for Northwestern. Northwestern got out to a 7-0 lead, and Michigan has scored the last couple of touchdowns in this game.
It's a good drive by Northwestern, though. They needed to answer.
Simmons gets run into immediately and dropped for a big loss. Brandon Graham just exploded off the line and dropped him for a 4-yard loss.
Exploded off the line is right, Pam. He gets off this ball so quickly. Here he is right here. Watch his get off. Bam, he flies up in there. He gets a little push on the back. That always helps. Desmond Taylor, the offensive tackle, just pushed him in the direction he wanted to go. And Brandon Graham, a big tackle for a loss.
Graham 3rd in the Big Ten, averaging a sack a game. Got a tackle for loss on that play, and it's 3rd and 14. Simmons, who busted a 3rd and 18 for a touchdown earlier, doesn't get much on that one. Northwestern has to punt, and we go to the studio. Thank you, Wendy. Northwestern's 5th punt. They only have 6 first downs, and Demos, who had his last one blocked, got some nice spin on that one. The Northwestern special teamers down it right near the goal line.
And you notice he didn't go to that soccer-style kick. He kicked it straight out.
Yep, get it out of there. So Michigan pinned back close to its state, down 5 receivers who have been suspended for their alleged part in a brawl on campus on Wednesday. So Bobby Bowden handing down the discipline, but there's the wacky ACC.
You ain't kidding.
Florida State on top of Wake Forest, which has had some strange losses. Maryland, who beats people they shouldn't beat and loses to people they should beat. They're at home today against North Carolina as Nick Sheridan gets a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, that Maryland team is a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
They are very, very strange this year under Ralph Friedgen, and we'll get to see them in a couple of weeks when they go up to Boston College. But Florida State playing tonight, and Nick Sheridan doing a good job managing this offense. That's really all they ask him to do. Don't do too much, nothing too fancy, and he's done a good job the last 1 game plus.
Taking care of the football.
Carlos Brown has shown us a lot. Brendan Smith rides him down, but it's a first down, 11 more yards for Brown.
Got a nice block from his fullback, Mark Mundros, and then he breaks a tackle in the second level. And when you get a guy that can do that, you have an exciting football play. Here he is, nice cuts right there, and then bam, the power to break and then spin off of that tackle.
Carlos Brown had only 3 carries for 3 yards the whole season coming into this game. He has been important, doesn't get anything there. But Brown now 12 carries for about 70 yards on the day. Today's Aflac trivia question, we want to know, what is the oldest stadium in the Big Ten?
Wait for that duck to go by.
And the answer is it's not Michigan Stadium, but Camp Randall, which has been open since 1917 in Madison. There are quite a few other stadiums in the Big Ten that have been around since the 1920s. There have been extensive renovations on a lot of these venerable places in college football.
Yeah, I love it when they do that. Not build a new one from scratch, but just kind of fix up the one you're in, keep the history alive.
Brown again on second down. Picks up a couple. Prince Quatang with the stop. We are happy, however, that a new stadium is being built in Minneapolis, because they are no longer going to be playing in the Metrodome. Right. They're going to get a beautiful open-air facility in Minneapolis on their campus beginning next season.
Here's a look at some of the older stadiums throughout the Big Ten. A lot of them built in the 20s, the roaring 20s.
Yep, including this one in 1927. Major renovation should be completed in 2 years. 3rd and 7 Wolverines. Sheridan hanging on to it. Does not get the first down. They have to punt. We have to go back to Wendy Nix.
Pam, thank you very much. Coming up on the KFC Halftime Report, I'll be joined by Jesse Palmer. Only one matchup between 2 top 25s teams today, but there's a lot of grudge matches, some revenge games. It's Revenge Saturday. We'll tell you how those teams are faring.
And with 3 teams eyeing the Big Ten title, I'll tell you who I think is going to represent the Big Ten out in Pasadena in the Rose Bowl.
Plus, the Texas Longhorns face in Kansas. We'll have highlights and an update coming up at the half.
All right, Wendy and Jesse, we will talk to you very soon. Mike Kafka out for this game with a concussion, a quarterback that we expected to see quite a bit, as the coaching staff, Mick McCall, the offense coordinator, says there's a 1 and a 1A with quarterbacks, not first and second string, but Kafka's out the rest of the
Yarborough.
Affleck,
oh boy, Kale.
There you go. Can Jimmy Johnson duplicate that feat? Check it out tomorrow on ABC. There are the quarterbacks. C.J. Bachér is definitely the #1 quarterback now, because there isn't any 1A anymore. Zoltan Mesko into punt. That line drive bounces and dies around the 40-yard line, where Northwestern takes over with just 1 timeout and 27 seconds left in the half. Are you just going to sit on it here?
Well, you're in pretty good field position. You know, I like a screen or a draw in this type of situation. See if you can pop something out, and if you do, then maybe take a shot. But you don't want to turn the ball over and allow a big play for the Michigan defense.
Simmons is the kind of running back who can pop one out.
You look at this. Last week, allowed just 46 yards on the ground. Today, just 80.
21 of them on the touchdown run. There's Simmons, as we anticipated. Michigan anticipated it as well. Stephen taken down by Jonas Mouton.
Mouton is playing very well today. He's finding a lot of little windows to slide through. Him and Obieze, both of them all over the field making tackles this afternoon.
And that'll do it for the first half of play. Northwestern scoring on Stephen Simmons' 21-yard touchdown run. Nick Sheridan answered with a TD run of his own, and then Ricky Reyes, a walk-on with a block punt recovery of a Michael Williams block, gave Michigan this 14-7 lead as we go to the studio, and Wendy Nix with the KFC halftime report.
Northwestern University. Exceptional academic opportunities. 2 beautiful lakefront campuses. A collaborative community. Lifelong friendships. Northwestern University.
We've got a second sloppy half to be played in Ann Arbor. Stephen Simmons with the TD, but his team trailing by a touchdown to Michigan.
You look good, green and white.
We really think you're terrific.
Come help us defend the Rock.
Well, I'm back at you.
Big W on the helmet.
You know about our Buckeye leads, right?
We got this new stadium coming.
You'd look great in black and gold.
We're the cradle quarterbacks. Do you like roses?
Look, our helmet's got wings.
Come to Ohio State.
Come to Wisconsin.
Indiana.
Iowa. Purdue.
Illinois.
Michigan.
Northwestern. Minnesota.
Michigan State.
Come to Penn State.
You like my style. I know you wish that you could do it, but that ain't how it's going down. It's a lot of hard work being me. It's a lot of hard work being me. It's a lot of hard work being me, and it's a level you ain't never gonna see.
Welcome back to ESPN's College Football presented by Kay Jewelers. Second half about to get underway. Michigan leading Northwestern 14-7, and these fans saw the first half and got chilled to the bone.
Yeah.
And they're heading back, and they will be watching us very soon on ESPN2. We'll be happy to have them. It is a miserable day here. We welcome you, Pam Ward, here along with Ray Bentley. 14-7 Northwestern trailing in this game. The weather has been a factor somewhat. We've had a lot of weird plays.
Yeah, we've had the ball bouncing around, several block kicks, and just it's tough to get some offense really going in this type of weather. But we did have some key plays, some scores. Right here, Stephen Simmons busts out for 21 yards to get Northwestern on the board first. Michigan answers with a Nick Sheridan 3-yard touchdown run. And then the big play in special teams. Stephen Demos gets the punt blocked, and it is recovered by Michigan, and that puts them up 14-7 here as we begin the second half.
The snow is starting to fall a little bit more heavily. We had rain at the beginning of the game, and now it is changed over. Temperatures in the 30s. This college football game presented by Kay Jewelers. Rich Rodriguez, his team really has picked it up the last couple of weeks. You got to give him credit for that. Not bowl eligible, short of a losing season, and they have not given up. They continue to play hard. Martavius Odoms gets it to start the second half, and the young man from Florida shows his speed getting it past the 30-yard line where Michigan starts over. Let's take a look at our first half statistics, and the offense for Northwestern didn't do a whole lot.
No, the Michigan defense has shut them down very nicely, and you see if you just average 2.5 a play, that's a long day for you right there. They're going to have to find a way to make something happen when they get the football. Maybe throw a trick play in or two to try and loosen up this Michigan defense that has been playing very well.
Nick Sheridan has been in at quarterback the whole way for the Wolverines. He led them to the win in Minnesota last week. But this guy has been the story at running back. Carlos Brown picking up 3 yards on that play. In the first half, Brown ran for 74 yards on 13 carries. That's 5.7 per carry on average, and he really has done a terrific job. In fact, almost out-rushing Northwestern by himself.
What a tremendous impact that he's made now that he's healthy for this Michigan offense. Was going to be a big part of it, got hurt, and now he is a big part.
2nd and 7, Sheridan hangs onto it and loses about a yard. Prince Boateng, who has played very steadily, Drops him, in fact, for a 3-yard loss. This Michigan team is playing without Brandon Minor. Didn't even dress today. He is out with a hurt shoulder. Michael Shaw started at running back. He has been bothered by a sore groin all year, and we have not seen Sam McGuffey at all, Ray, in the backfield.
Not at all, but Carlos Brown has kind of been the guy now to pick up that slack, and Calvin McGee, the offensive coordinator, told us McGuffey's been the one constant. He was the most consistent in the backfield, but when you get a talent like Brown back in, you got to give him a shot.
3rd and 10, Sheridan completes it to Brown, but he's about 8 yards short of the first down. Corbin Bryant and Brendan Smith converging on the tackle, so the first possession of the second half results in a punt.
And that's what Northwestern's going to need to do. They're going to have to find a way to get some decent field position and then open up the offense and then try some trickery. I think that's going to be their best option.
Zoltan Mesko, the best punter in this conference, is semifinalist for the Ray Guy Award, which goes to the best punter in the country. Has it partially blocked. We have had special teams plays like that. A couple of block punts now, a blocked field goal. And Northwestern in terrific field position.
Oh, and that's just one of those cases where the punter hits a line drive punt. I think it hit Jacob Schmidt, backup running back, in there.
It's only a 7-yard punt for Mesko, which will really hurt his average.
Well, here you see a low snap. He gets a low start, but right here is the guy that's going to come in. I think this is who it hits. Bam, right there. And I said it's actually Ben Johnson who blocks that punt.
Barely even had to raise his arm to do it.
That's just a punter error.
Bachér on the run gets the pass off and completed to Ross Lane. Good job by Bachér, and Lane, the senior, hung out there and made the catch for a 20-yard gain.
Great patience by C.J. Bachér and just waiting and buying time with his legs, getting out on the edge, and then when it was open, he zinged one in there. That's a pretty good throw on the run from C.J. Bachér, who is nursing a bad hamstring. He's not 100%. He looked awful close to it on that.
Longest pass play of the day by far. The previous high was 8 yards. That one went for 20. Bachér completes again to Lane, who is close to the first down, stopped a little bit short of the 10-yard line by Obieze. A good start for Northwestern in the second quarter. They scored the first touchdown of the game, and then after that really didn't do much at all.
They haven't thrown the ball down the field much as Michigan's getting caught late.
There's that tempo game. Bachér dropped for the 3rd time today. He has been sacked. This time, Brandon Harrison gets him.
Well, and Harrison just came around the edge. He hid behind Tim Jamison. And then there was nobody left to pick him up. And Bashay's got to get rid of that football a little quicker. He's got to realize what's going on there and get rid of it either by throwing it away or finding a receiver.
They lose 7 yards on the play. So 2nd and goal now from the 17. Bachér going in the end zone for Peterman, and Eric Peterman can't bring it in. Charles Stewart was back defending.
Well, Stewart was really, he got beat, and Peterman had the corner route there. He had a couple of yards. Here's Peterman, the inside slot guy, and look at him just run, get a little push off there. The separation he created, but the timing was off from C.J. Bachér. That might be an indicator of him not being in the lineup the last couple of weeks.
Bachér is sitting out the last 2 games with the hurt hamstring. 3rd and goal. Going again into the end zone for Lane, and this time the connection is made. Touchdown, Wildcats.
Ross Lane finally gets on the board. Has 10 career touchdowns, didn't have any on the season, and he beats Donovan Warren on a skinny post. And Bachér patiently waits for it to clear and throws a strike, and Northwestern answers.
Perfectly thrown football. Lane celebrating his first touchdown of the season, as Ray just told you. Amato Villarreal in to tie it. Northwestern has scored touchdowns on a 3rd and 18 with a touchdown run, and now they convert in a 3rd and goal from the 17. Bachér finding Ross Lane, and we are tied up in the snow in Ann Arbor. Tuesday, November 18th on ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPNU. And one good thing about basketball, they play it inside. It is, this is good football weather. You like this, right?
I like the snow. I don't like rain. Rain makes you cold and wet. Snow is kind of fun.
Well, it's getting more fun then because it's turning over to all snow. Martavius Odoms with the football. Oh, big hit around the 23-yard line where Michigan takes over. 22-yard return.
Let's go back to that C.J. Bachér touchdown pass, and you're going to have two receivers here running posts. And what he does is he waits for the first one to clear, and then he throws it in there. Andrew Brewer, number 12, he's going to run and stick the post right there. See how that creates the seam? And that's where Bachér got it inside. And that offense finally got it going. Coach Fitz finally threw the ball down the field. I think that's been a problem all season long for Northwestern. They don't throw it down the field enough.
And on that last drive, Bachér was much better yard-wise than he had been in the entire first half. Ross Lane caught 3 of those passes for 47 yards, including the score. Michael Shaw back in at tailback, and the true freshman picks up a couple of tough yards. Corbin Bryant in on the tackle.
Michigan offense going to try to answer on this drive, at least start getting some field position. They need a couple first downs to get out of this little bit of a hole that they're in and answer after going 3 and out.
Sheridan throws it low at the feet of his intended receiver, Greg Matthews. So 3rd and 7 coming up for the Wolverines.
That's one of the rare bad throws that I've seen from Nick Sheridan in the last 2 weeks. And that was an easy pitch and catch deal. Had a receiver hitched up on the outside, no pressure on him, and he threw it into the dirt. And that's what he was doing previously when he was struggling. But since he's turned it around, he's been very accurate.
3rd and 7 now for Sheridan, who's playing with a bloody nose. He has one of his nostrils all plugged up, and that one's incomplete. Good coverage by Brendan Smith on Daryl Stoneham. And the crowd wanting a flag. They're not going to get it. What they're going to get is another punt from the Wolverines. 2 possessions, 2 3-and-outs here in the 3rd quarter.
And another mistake by Sheridan. He had that curl route open earlier, but at the end of the play, Tony Clemens was wide open right by the first down marker, and he threw it inside instead of outside. Not a good series for Sheridan.
4th and 7. Here comes the punt as the snow picks up. Mesco. Fair caught by Brendan Smith inside his 35-yard line. C.J. Bachér engineered a very nice drive last time Northwestern had the ball. Wildcats have it again when we return. That's a nice look at the University of Michigan Library. One of the priorities, and this place was built in 1837. Audubon's Birds of America was their first purchase in 1838. And that is a studious woman. Look at all those books.
Yeah, that's a few too many.
That's a lot of stuff. And a lot of those students are out here watching today through this snowstorm. C.J. Bachér at the helm completes it to Ross Lane, who just caught a touchdown pass to tie this game up. It was senior day. It is senior day here today. 16 seniors. Among them is Charles Stewart, number 5 for Michigan, with his proud parents, and his brother, also number 5, is a wide receiver, Sidney Stewart, for Northwestern. Oh, there's a body slam on Stephen Simmons. Terrence Taylor just threw him down.
Terrence Taylor is a man now. That was a suplex right there. Try that in the living room. That's fun.
When he was a high school senior, he was an unbeaten wrestler in his senior year, and probably with moves like that.
Get him in a cage match. The ladder match.
3rd and 3 now for the Wildcats. Three receivers to Baché's right. He's looking left, and he's got Peterman, old reliable, his senior teammate, picks up the first down in front of Brandon Harrison. So you have 2 Stewart brothers, Sidney and Charles. Charles is a senior. They're both from Farmington Hills, Michigan, and there's a date they'll never forget, September 28, 2001.
Yeah, had a grease fire in the house that could have been really bad.
and nobody's going to catch him. Eric Peterman takes it in for the Northwestern score.
Well, we're trying to tell a story about the Stewart brothers. Peterman doesn't care. Neither does Bachér. Hits him on a seam route. That's what I've been talking about with this offense for the Wildcats. They need to strike down the field more to open up defenses and also create big plays. And this is a perfect pass from C.J. Bachér. Nobody home in the middle of the field, and Peterman, that's as easy as it gets right there. Just a skinny post, ball on time, runner to the end zone.
4th touchdown catch of the year for Peterman. Villarreal's extra point gives Northwestern a 21-14 lead. 53 yards on this pass play. Northwestern and C.J. Bachér looking like entirely different football players than we saw in the first half. Northwestern has scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes and 12 seconds. C.J. Bachér has hit Eric Peterman for a 53-yard touchdown pass play, their longest pass play of the season, Ray.
And I like the call that they did. They sent everybody deep, and Michigan was in a cover too, and they had a problem picking up all those vertical routes.
Northwestern down 14-7 at the half, now up 21-14. Artavius Odoms gets it at his 5. Big lane up the middle, and Odoms, good field position, just short of the 40-yard line on a nice 34-yard return. Brad Phillips with the stop.
Well, here's Peterman right here. He's in the slot. Now watch this thing go as they're both running vertical routes. Ross Lane on the outside, Peterman on the inside. He bends it in a little bit, and bam, right there. Here's the safety, Stewart, who has no chance to really cover both of them. He's caught in the middle, and that little bend on the skinny post by Peterman is what created all that distance, and that's how they beat him in that 2-deep coverage.
So C.J. Bachér now with 12 touchdowns and 12 interceptions on the season. Sheridan completes it to Tony Clemens, who picks up only about 3 yards for the Wolverines. They've had the ball in 2 previous possessions in this half, and both of them were 3 and outs.
And they look like the Wolverines of earlier in the season as opposed to the last couple of weeks.
Brad Phillips, who's a very important cog on the defense, is out. And look who's in. Justin Fagan to play quarterback. We expected to see him earlier today. He's the runner. A spectacular career as an option high school quarterback in Texas, or excuse me, in Florida.
Well, they've taken him right out. Northwestern wasn't fooled. They saw this on tape last week when Fagan came in 7 times on 7 different occasions against Minnesota and averaged 7 yards a carry. Yeah, he did a nice job, but Northwestern, they saw that, they were prepared, and they took care of the business.
So now on 3rd and 6, you know you got to throw it, so Sheridan's back in at quarterback. Low snap. Sheridan in big trouble. Got away and threw it out of bounds. He had a man over there. Good quarterback pressure, or pressure on the quarterback by Kevin Mims and John Gill. And here's another punt for Michigan.
Wolverines' drives have totally stalled out here in the second half. I mean, you look at these, the last 3, punt, punt, punt. You're not going to get it done when you get it back in that kind of situation and can't convert a first down.
Yep, and this time they get it at their own 39 and still can't move it. Mesko bounces one. Northwestern will get it at the 23-yard line. Mesko busy now with a 34-yard punt. C.J. Bachér back at it. He has been picture perfect here in the second half after struggling in the first. That pass is complete to Sidney Stewart, the other Stewart brother. Let's get an update now from Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. Meanwhile, back here live, Stewart the intended receiver, but it's incomplete from Bachér. Good pressure that time from Jonas Mouton, one of the linebackers for Michigan.
A good call on the blitz, and I'll tell you, the first half, second half comparison for C.J. Bachér is pretty remarkable. And I think the biggest reason for that is the play calling has changed. They've started throwing the ball down the field, giving him some chances.
Jacob Schmidt in at running back. Bachér keeps it on 3rd and 2. And he doesn't get anything. Ryan Van Bergen making the stop for Michigan.
And that's not C.J. Baché's game, especially with a wounded hamstring. You can't count on him for those tough rushing yards in a 3rd and short situation.
So both Storts, both of them number 5s, go off the field. C.J. Bachér heading to the sideline. First time in 3 possessions in this half that Northwestern has not scored a touchdown. Demos had one blocked earlier today, got that one away cleanly. Odoms with the fair catch just inside the 30-yard line on Demos' 39-yard punt. Michigan in the second half has 3 possessions and 3 3-and-outs, and we still have 6.5 minutes left to go in the quarter. Sheridan? Oh boy, that's way too high. I don't know if Odom stopped on his route, but it falls incomplete.
And I tell you, it might be time for Rich Rodriguez to think about putting Stephen Threet back into the ball game. He's missed the last couple with concussion problems, headaches after getting a concussion against Purdue. Sheridan has taken over, but Threet did practice this week, and they said it's a possibility we may see him. If Sheridan can't get it together, we may see him sooner than later.
He has been cleared to play. Sheridan, just 3 of his last 11 passes. Carlos Brown has done good things on the ground for the Wolverines. Brian Peters making the stop. So Stephen Threet made 8 starts, the 3rd leading rusher on this team, the redshirt freshman, but had the concussion, as Ray mentioned, against Purdue. And he did not play at all against Minnesota. He's been cleared to play today, but I don't know, when you have that kind of a headgear stuff on and headphones and everything, that doesn't look too promising to me.
Well, you know, but yeah, that can come off in a quick hurry. Believe me, throw a helmet on and get that headset off and let's go play some football. And he's keeping warm by doing all that signaling over there.
We have seen Justin Fagan, but only for 1 play as a quarterback for Michigan. 3rd and 6. Sheridan really has nowhere to go but down. The ball is loose. Michigan appears to have recovered it, and they have. But Corey Wooten, who has a blocked field goal today, coming in and disrupting that play. Odoms was able to fall on the football.
What a great play by Martavius Odoms at the end of this thing. He's going to come in and knock a Northwestern player off. There's Wooten with the sack and the forced fumble. Now this thing is a greased pigskin. It's wild, but see right there at the end, Odoms knocks the defender away from the ball and falls on it. That's a huge play.
A great play by Odoms. So another 3-and-out for Michigan. Mesko's punt. Fair caught by Brendan Smith, who goes to his knees right at the 35 on the 33-yard punt by Mesko. So the Big Ten shaping up for one heck of a football game next week. Michigan State is off this week. Penn State leading Indiana right now, but those 2 teams play in Happy Valley next week. Northwestern playing for better bowl position. Michigan playing to avoid its first ever 8-loss season. Unbelievable. 129 years of football, and they've never lost 8 games in 1 year. Bachér has that one, should have been caught. Boy, Andrew Brewer should have had it, and Morgan Trent almost had the interception on the deflection.
And that's several dropped interception opportunities by the Wolverines today. We saw Obieze drop one. Now Morgan Trent. Watch, this ball's going to come off the hands of Brewer, and right there, boy, man, that's an easy one. That's 2 easy ones the Wolverines have dropped.
2nd and 10. Stephen Simmons doesn't get much. Jonas Mouton made the stop after a 1-yard gain. Rich Rodriguez's team led 14-7 at the half, but here in the 3rd quarter, it's been all Northwestern.
Yeah, and you see this for the Michigan offense, just 12 yards thus far in the 2nd half. Northwestern exploding with a couple of big pass plays to get their offense rolling.
And that's on 4 possessions in the 3rd quarter. They have 12 yards on 3, on all 4 3-and-outs. 3rd and 9 now for the Wildcats. Bachér got rid of it quickly. Terrific adjustment by Rasheed Ward. Ward grabbed the football in Michigan territory. 18-yard gain, first down.
That's the old back shoulder throw right there. And Bachér, the savvy fifth-year senior, knew what he had. Man-to-man coverage. Warren not looking at him, and he throws it back shoulder.
Ward, the senior out of Chicago. Bachér flicks it out the other way. Big hit by Trent, but the ball is held onto by Ross Lane, who has caught a touchdown pass in this quarter. Pat Fitzgerald at 33, the youngest head coach in all of the bowl subdivision in football. Will turn 34 before the year is out. Bachér again has a drop. Eric Peterman. And a flag is down.
That's the first fast tempo play that we've seen from Northwestern, usually a large part of what they do. And nothing will stop a fast tempo more than a drop. It looks like Michigan had 12 men on the field. It's going to be the penalty.
Something obviously that the fast tempo can do.
Yeah, it really messes with the substitution. That's why they do it.
Mick McCall in his first year as the offensive coordinator with the Wildcats. With that spread offense, Michigan also runs one, but they're different.
Illegal substitution defense. 12th man did not get off the field. 5 yards. Repeat the down.
Will Johnson was trying his darndest to get off the field, but wasn't unable to do it before the ball was snapped. Pat Fitzgerald was a great linebacker. There you see Johnson lumbering.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys on the field right there. There he is right at the bottom. He was the one hustling. He's the one that didn't quite make it.
2nd and 1 after the penalty. Very short one. And Simmons gets the first down for Northwestern. Azay makes the stop.
You mentioned Mick McCall, the offensive coordinator for Northwestern, came over from Bowling Green, and one thing he added to this offense was tempo, where they go super fastball, where they try to snap that ball really quick. They've only done it one time today, and that was that last play, and it worked for them because they caught Michigan with too many men on the field.
A good look at Mick up in the box, offensive coordinator for BG last year, the quarterback coach for a few seasons before that. Bachér going backwards, needed to get rid of it, and he found Rasheed Ward. Looked for all the world like he was throwing it away, and they picked up 4 with Brandon Graham breathing in on him.
Yeah, Graham made him pay the price for those 4 yards. Bam, right there. Take that, CJ. Have a seat. But this is a nice job by Rasheed Ward of coming back, knowing his quarterback is in peril, and helping him out.
Ward, the 3rd leading receiver for this team this year. Andrew Brewer had that ball go over his head. Another quick snap for Northwestern.
And you got to wonder if C.J. Bachér, taking that hit, didn't shake it off quickly enough to go ahead and make a good throw, because that was his poorest throw of the day right there.
Bachér having to go the whole way today because Mike Kafka suffered a concussion in the first half. He will not return. He and Kafka were splitting the snaps this afternoon. Bachér throwing that towards Ross Lane, actually towards the band, as Tim Jamison put the pressure on him.
Tried to stick that one into a tuba over there.
So good pressure by Michigan, forcing Bachér to throw the ball away. Now with 2:36 left to go in the 3rd quarter, Bachér heads over to the sidelines on 4th and 6.
Yeah, and I think you should go for it here. And there's a little indecision right now by that Northwestern sideline. A lot of times you get that over there. They take a 5-yard penalty and bring in the punt team, or they use a timeout and make their decision.
And they will take the penalty.
Play a game. Offense. 5 yards. Down remains 4.
Pat Fitzgerald runs the special teams for the Wildcats, and those are his calls both as a head coach and a special teams coach. He's creating a little more room to try and drop a punt down inside the 10 and give Michigan a long field.
Stefan Demos trying to do just that. Odoms runs away from it, and it is down inside the 5. So Pat Fitzgerald got exactly what he wanted on the 32-yard punt, as it was downed by Lee Coleman around the 4-yard line. Let's take a look at what is going to be a very exciting final week in the Big Ten next week. Penn State and Michigan State squaring off in Happy Valley, and Ohio State finishing up at home against this Michigan ball club.
Yeah, and Michigan State controls their own destiny in that they would get at least a share of the Big Ten title if they knock off Penn State. Penn State controls their destiny. They win today and then win next week, they would get a share of the title at least.
And Stephen Threet is indeed playing quarterback now for Michigan. Handed it off to Carlos Brown, who picked up a yard, but we saw Nick Sheridan really struggle in the third quarter. And as you wished and as you thought they should do, Threet's in.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this is a really difficult deal for Stephen Threet, because you stand on that sideline, it rains first and you get wet, then it gets colder and it snows, and your equipment's heavy and your jersey's heavy and all the things you're wearing are heavy. This is a really tough challenge to come in late in these kind of conditions.
Hands it off to Brown, who gets a huge gain and the first down, going right up the middle for 13 yards. Brad Phillips with the stop.
Moondros throws another nice block from the fullback position. And you notice they're under center. And Michigan saying, hey, we're going to play a little power football here. We're going to line up and knock you off the ball, and that's exactly what they did.
Brown now 17 carries for 95 yards. In there for Brandon Minor, who is not playing today with a sore shoulder. Right back to Carlos. And he gets closer to 100 yards on the day, picks up 3 more. Adam Hahn with the stop. Adam Hahn, one of 2 married defensive linemen for Northwestern. As Sheridan, now his turn to put on the warm coat and signal in.
And he may not be done today either. You know, it depends on how Stephen Threet handles this situation. But I think it's a great call by Coach Rodriguez and Calvin McGee to go ahead and make this change and see if they can get a spark from Stephen Threet.
2nd and 7. Brown again. This time he gets nothing. Might have even lost a yard as he is dropped by Corbin Bryant.
Bryant did a nice job of getting his shoulders in front of the blocker. It was Mark Ortman, the left tackle, who was trying to block him. He got into that gap, got his shoulders upfield, and Ortman, all he did was push him into the tackle.
So Michigan does have to snap the ball one more time before the quarter is over. There's Ortman, number 71, a redshirt junior out of Klein, Texas.
This is a critical 3rd down here for the Wolverines.
Threet throwing for it, and it's incomplete. About a yard short of the first down marker, looking for Carlos Brown. Sherrick McManus with the hit. And now 4 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter with a Michigan punt coming.
Heck of a play by Sherrick McManus. They're in cover 2, so he's got the flat. He carried the receiver back a ways to help out the safety, and then broke back on it and broke up the pass.
McManus, the most experienced cornerback and their best cover corner, doing his job, forcing the 4th and 8. Mesko gets it away. Peterman wants nothing to do with it. The ball takes a nice Michigan roll. Yes, indeed. As the 3rd quarter comes to an end, the ball rolls dead at the 33-yard line. A 46-yard punt for Mesko. Michigan down 7. Let's go back to Northwestern's last win here in the Big House. Their current head coach, Pat Fitzgerald, there he was, number 51, was their star linebacker, as Michigan fell to Northwestern 19-13. Gary Barnett was the head coach back then, and Fitz told us that he vividly remembers the game. He told us all sorts of details about it, including that a helicopter came in to dry out the field. He thought that was really cool. Yeah. And he remembers just about everything about that football game.
Yeah, he mentioned remembering Tim Biaka-Batuka knocking him on his back for over 200 yards, but yet they pulled it out and won.
4th quarter, first play, Bachér talked to Stephen Simmons, who picks up a couple. He said Tim Biaka-Batuka gained about 1,000 yards in that game, but he didn't score. And that's the thing that was obviously the most important thing. And what a great third quarter for Northwestern. Pluses in all those categories, and the bottom line tells it all. 5 punts, 1 first down, and the most important thing you circled, 14 points to none.
Yeah, all that other stuff's great, but what counts is putting it on the scoreboard.
Boy, Ross Lane has had a heck of a game. Picks that one for a 10-yard gain and a first down. Lane has scored on a touchdown in this football game.
7 for 77 yards and that touchdown.
Bachér quickly back up into the air. That one falls incomplete. Let's go back to the studio.
On top.
That's a game that a lot of people think Charlie Weiss has to win, and they're up now by 17. Stephen Simmons with the carry, picks up 7 yards. You talked about Ross Lane. He has 6 catches for 69 yards just in this half, just in really the third quarter, and then that 1 catch here in the fourth. So a good job by the receivers after their offense looked really bad in the first half.
Yeah, and a great job by Mick McCall opening up this offense and taking some shots down the field.
Jacob Schmidt in now at running back. He's played mostly special teams, but they are down 2 running backs. Bachér has that go off the hands of Josh Rooks, and it's intercepted by Donovan Warren. And Warren,
he stepped out.
Goes into the end zone, but he did step out farther upfield.
Right about the 45-yard line, avoiding a tackler, stepped out. Donovan Warren comes up with a big play. Finally, Michigan catches the easy interception on a tip. Here it is. You see the tip right through the hands of Rooks. Now Warren's got it. And watch him step on the sideline. Oh, that's close. That's close. That might be reviewed.
But if they blew the whistle, it's over.
You got a good point there, Pam. That you can't really tell from that angle. But boy, on that other angle, it sure looked like he stayed in bounds. Tough break there.
Would have been a 59-yard touchdown instead of 15-yard return. And Michigan in business at the 44. Street still in at quarterback, hangs on to it, and gets about a yard or so. Mims and Gill on the tackle.
Yeah, great play by Gill there, getting the hands off of the blocker and then on to the running back. Gill with good penetration, then good redirection. That's what you have to do when you're facing a screen or a draw type play. Redirect, stick the foot in the ground and backwards. Go retreat.
2nd and 8. Brown going for another first down, picking up 10 yards. Brian Peters making the tackle. Brown now well over 100 yards on the afternoon.
David Malk, the center, had a great block. He took Gill totally out of the play on that one.
Carlos Brown, 20 carries, 107 yards. He had 3 yards on 3 carries all season before this game as he goes forward for another 3.
That's the old 10-yard rule, where if you run the play and you get 10 yards, run it again. Same exact play. Make them stop it.
The rain that turned into snow is going back towards rain again, as Northwestern has an injured player. It's Corbin Bryant, their sophomore defensive tackle.
Got caught up in the wash there, and a lot of times people fall on the back of your legs, and that's a dangerous situation.
Carlos Brown also is dinged up a little bit. The running back, who has 110 yards now on the day, leaves the field. We will take a break as Corbin Bryant is looked at on the field. Moments ago, Corbin Bryant helped off the field, favoring the right leg after this play.
And here he is right here, and you're going to see he gets hooked up with a Michigan lineman. And right there, I believe, on that leg, you see all the force getting pushed from behind and landed on. That's what caused the injury.
So Bryant out of the ball game. 2nd and 7 for the Wolverines. Empty backfield for Stephen Treat, who hangs on to it. Spins away. to pick up a couple of extra yards. John Gill with the tackle. Threet picked up 5 on the run. Michigan trailing Northwestern 21-14. Michigan's final home game of the year. 16 seniors playing their last game at Michigan Stadium. And Michigan trying to avoid its first ever 8-loss season. Trailing Northwestern by 7. Shaw back in at running back. And he is close to the first down. Jordan Maben makes the stop, but from the mark, he's a little bit short. Total yards, Michigan leading 14-7 at the half, but Pat Fitzgerald's team came out like gangbusters in the third quarter.
They sure did. Started winging the ball down the field, and then the defense picked up the slack. 4 consecutive 3-and-outs by the Michigan offense to start this second half.
And on 4th and short, Michigan's lining up to go for it. Threet gets the extra push and is stopped right on our electronically generated first down line.
I don't like the defense from Northwestern. It's obvious the quarterback sneak is coming, but they didn't cover the center's head. They had guys on each shoulder, but you got to cover the center's head in a quarterback sneak situation. And you're just going to give them the push. You're going to give them that first down if you don't defend it that way.
And they did get the first down. Carlos Brown back into the game behind his fullback Moondros. Brown gets it, escapes a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Look at a hold right down there. Mark Ortman had a hold of Prince Quatang.
Well, I like the way Carlos Brown runs the football, though. The first hit rarely brings him down.
During the play, holding offense number 71, 10 yards previous spot. Repeat the down.
And it's Mark Ortman, the redshirt junior, big guy right there. I don't have a circle big enough for him. But right there, he grabs a hold of Quatang and just throws him to the ground. That's an easy one to call for the umpire.
Got him from behind, too. 1st and 20 after the penalty. Brown still in the backfield. Threet gives it to him. A lot of running room for Carlos Brown. Brendan Smith with the tackle, about 8 yards downfield.
The Michigan offensive line has picked it up here in this drive. They're starting to block people again, getting hat on a hat and sticking to guys, not allowing the Northwestern defenders to come off blocks and make plays.
2nd and 12. Threet gets the call from the sideline. Still plenty of time left to go on the play clock. And he throws that one low and incomplete. Intended for true freshman Darrell Stoneham. So a 3rd and 12 now for Threet and the Wolverines.
Not a good throw from Stephen Threet. And I didn't like the route either. I think Stoneham has to stick and come back to the quarterback. He kind of rounded the end of that route. You see the numbers on Brown having a heck of a day.
Closing in on his career high. Threet through the air. 0 for 2 today in relief of Nick Sheridan. Brown is now in the slot to the right as a receiver. Threet going into the end zone and overthrows it. It is picked off. Jordan Maben got the ball that was intended for the tight end, Mike Massey.
And I don't know what happened to Massey. Like he thought the ball was hot or something. He stuck his hands up and then pulled him down as the ball went over him. Didn't go up and try to make a play. Maben just was in the right spot at the right time, but this should have been at least a tip ball for Mike Massey.
3rd interception of Jordan Maben's career. Threet with the pick.
By K Jewelers, every kiss begins with K.
That is Zingerman's, an Ann Arbor institution. Incredible sandwiches, including their homemade chopped liver. And but for me,
it ain't chopped liver, is it?
No, it's not. The brownies. Go for the brownies.
Your weakness.
And people, I have many, but that's one of them. And people will line up outside the door. Jordan Maben has come up with his 3rd career interception. Caught that in the end zone. Northwestern now with the ball on the 20, and a 7-point lead. Michigan has now turned the ball over twice today and has also had a field goal blocked. Bachér hanging on to it and taken down right near the line of scrimmage by Will Johnson.
Let's take a look at that interception again. And there's Maben right up there. And you watch him, he's just playing in the back. And here's the throw from Sheridan. And I gave Massey a little criticism for not sticking up the arms. I'm going to rescind that a little bit because Stephen Threet, that was a horrible throw. And he basically threw it right to Jordan Maben.
Takes a big man to admit that he was a little hard on a guy. Yeah, Threet not good through the air. 0 for 3 with a pick in relief of Nick Sheridan. We wonder if Sheridan will come in on the next Michigan possession. 2nd and 10. Blitz coming. It's picked up. Bachér looking for Rashid Ward. Ball is incomplete. Good coverage by Donovan Warren. And Bachér, with a flag next to him, is slow getting up. Now Mike Kafka, his backup, is already out for the rest of the game after suffering a concussion.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 67 defense, 15 from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Boy, Terrence Taylor with a big mistake, 15 yards and the first down. Boy, Terrence Taylor coming in and going up high on Bachér, and that must be the call, not necessarily late. So the ball is placed now at the 35-yard line. First down for the Wildcats. Stephen Simmons, who scored on a 21-yard touchdown run back in the first quarter, picks up 4. Brandon Graham made the stop.
And this Michigan team is running out of time here. They're going to have to do something drastic, come up with some kind of play. They thought they had it with that interception, but the offense wasn't able to capitalize. Maybe the defense will have to score.
Michigan trying to win its 2nd straight ball game for the first time all year and trying to avoid the infamy of its first ever 8-loss season. This loss, if they lose this one, it will be loss number 8 on the year. And that is a remarkable fact for 129 seasons of football.
And only 4 times have they lost 7 games.
Simmons racked up by Jonas Mouton, who continues to rack up the tackles.
Oh, he's playing a whale of a ball game, finding seams again, shooting through there and making tackles. Very solid tackler today.
3rd and 6, big 3rd and 6 on both sides of the ball. Bachér hangs on to it on the 3rd and 6, lunges, but is about a yard short of the first down. Will Johnson makes the tackle for the Wolverines.
Boy, I don't like the call either. Very conservative with a lot of time left, and then you give it to C.J. Bachér, who has a bad hamstring, and count on him to try and pick up a 3rd and 6. That's a little questionable.
Yeah, I don't get it either, and we're going to see the punter, Stephen Demos, come out.
Well, this is a good decision.
Yeah.
You think?
We'll take that, yep, from about the 44-yard line. Martavius Odom's drifting back to his 15 for Michigan. Boy, and Demos, he's getting awfully close to kicking it right into guys. He's already had 1 block today. Odom's with the fair catch at the 22 after a 34-yard punt from Demos. Michigan with the football, they're only down a touchdown. Your local listings for the game in your area. C.J. Bachér on the phone for Northwestern. Stephen Threet still a quarterback for Michigan. And that didn't work. Faked it to Carlos Brown and then threw it to Greg Matthews. Sherrick McManus in on the stop.
Well, I think this is maybe the last series you give Stephen Threet, because you're running out of time, and he's 0 for 3. Actually completed his first one for 1 yard. So he's 1 for 4 with 1 yard and 1 interception. Now, Sheridan didn't necessarily light it up in the 3rd quarter either, but he's the better thrower right now. I think he's got a better feel and a better rhythm.
6 possessions, 5 punts, and an interception in the second half for Michigan's offense. 3 to Matthews, who went down to get it, as we get another update.
13, Ohio State over Illinois.
All right, Wendy, meanwhile, Michigan got 8 yards on that last play to Greg Matthews. The Wolverines get a conversion on the first down here.
Yeah, and you see those numbers, not a lot happening for either Michigan quarterback, but Stephen Treat, hey, he completed a couple here. Maybe he's got something going now.
They're 4 for 16 on third downs in this game. That was a big one. Reverse. Brown gives it up to Odoms, and the wide receiver is taken down. Maybe 1 yard on the play. Corey Wooten doing a good job staying home and making the stop.
Great play by Corey Wooten. He kept his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, didn't turn and chase. This was outstanding. He's right over here. You're going to be able to see him come in. Look at the shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage. That allows him to keep the vision and see the reverse, and then he gets outside, forces it back in, and makes the play.
3, back to Matthews. Catches it a couple of yards short of the first down. Catches it inbounds, so the clock keeps going.
And they are starting to pick on that left side of the Northwestern Wildcats secondary. Going after McManus a couple of times. He's playing off pretty far, giving him that little hitch route in front of him.
3rd and a long one for the Wolverines. 3, hangs on to it, runs for the first down. Taken down by middle linebacker Nate Williams.
Took advantage of just the 3-man line from Northwestern. Treat's a little slow to get up.
And a Northwestern player also is slow to get up.
In fact, Treat's back down.
John Gill, the defensive tackle for Northwestern. There you see the big guy from California. Still on the field turf, as is Stephen Treat.
Well, here's Treat finishing this run. Takes the shot to the lower body right there. And boy, got hit by Nate Williams. I think there's a little knot on the side of his leg. That was a pretty good pop from Nate Williams, who was playing very well at that middle linebacker.
I remember Treat is coming off a concussion he suffered against Purdue.
Now they're looking at his shoulder a little bit. He did land pretty hard on that right shoulder.
Nate Williams is the guy who hit him. Williams is a guy that the Northwestern coaching staff is very excited about. He's come in and done a good job with Malcolm Arrington out for the rest of the year with a hurt knee.
Yeah, he's really come a long way in a short order. And, you know, when we talked to Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator for Northwestern, he was really impressed that he made that rapid ascension, even though he didn't get a lot of reps.
Said he did a really good job of paying attention in practice and came in and was able to fill in quite nicely for Arrington, who was a stalwart in the middle for them. That's good. John Gill is up and going off the field. Nick Sheridan is in. Stephen Treat shaken up on the last play, out for Michigan. 1st and 10, they're down by a touchdown. Sheridan goes across his body towards Michael Shaw. He was pursued by Marshall Thomas, who came in when John Gill went out, shaken up for Northwestern at defensive tackle.
Boy, Michael Shaw did not help the scrambling Nick Sheridan, Nick Sheridan, getting confusing, rolling him in out of there, but he didn't help Sheridan at all. He just stood where he was, not giving Sheridan anyone to really throw to. I think he threw that one away.
Marshall Thomas out, John Gill back in for Northwestern, so Gill only missed one play. And that pass is completed over the middle to Carlos Brown. Brown has over 100 yards rushing on the day, picked up 8 through the air on that play.
This is an area of the field that Michigan needs to attack a little more often. Most of their throws, you see, are on the perimeter. And there's some open field in the middle here that they can go to, but they haven't.
3rd and 2. Sheridan pursued by Gill, throws it incomplete, looking for Carlos Brown. The crowd looking for a flag. They wanted an interference, but aren't going to get it. Prince Quatang was on the coverage of Brown.
Quatang very easily could have been called for that. He had made contact with Brown and was riding him to the ground.
So 4th and 2, Michigan going for it.
Got to. Just 3 minutes and change left in this game, you won't have a better opportunity than this.
Fourth time today, Michigan has gone for it on fourth down. They've been successful 2 of the previous 3 times. Make it 3 for 4. Sheridan gets popped at the end of the play by Brad Phillips. First down, Wolverines.
Nick Sheridan showing some niftiness. When he got hit, I think his mouthpiece or something flew off of him. That was a huge hit by Phillips at the end. Take a look at this, see if we can see what flies off of him. Bam! Hey, you can see it good from the other view. That is a nice whack right there. Sheridan able to withstand the hot hit and stay in.
Picked up 12 yards and the first down at the 31. Sheridan has a ball dropped by Odoms. He waited for Odoms to get a little bit farther upfield, and Martavius couldn't hang on. He's got the gloves back on again. Odoms does.
Yeah, we saw him take him off earlier. Might have to go take him off again because that's an easy drop, easy catch. It should have been. And ran a little bubble route to the outside. Sheridan had patience, stuck it on him, and you got to make that catch.
2nd and 10. Carlos Brown trips in the backfield and loses a couple.
He had a hole too, Pam. He had a chance to go, but his feet got tangled up with Nick Sheridan's. You got to wonder, changing quarterbacks, it kind of changes things, and Carlos Brown hasn't had a ton of reps. He's been out for a month, and if you don't get everything clean and you haven't repped it and repped it and repped it, all of a sudden in a critical time, it doesn't work for you.
Very critical, 3rd and 13 on this, the 13th play of the drive. Plenty of time for Sheridan, and a great play. McManus hit Matthews right as the ball arrived. They've been picking on McManus, and that time he picked on them.
Just a great break from Sheridan McManus. There he is back there, backpedaling, gets out of his backpedal, but watch him stick the foot in the ground and then change directions with great acceleration. That's the difference between making a play and not making a play, and McManus has that explosive burst.
Boy, perfect timing, too. 4th and 13. This could be the ball game for the Wolverines. Sheridan, pursued by John Gill, forces it, and it's incomplete. Northwestern gets the ball back. Prince Quatang knocked it down. Sheridan was hotly pursued by John Gill.
Great coverage by Northwestern. You see that everybody's in their zone, reading the quarterback's eyes, and then breaking to the ball at the end.
Northwestern taking over on downs. Michigan has all 3 of its timeouts left, but only 2:19 remaining in this ball game.
This is where you have to tackle the football if you're a Wolverine.
Bachér to Stephen Simmons, who gets a big piece of real estate, picks up 7 on first down. Stevie Brown makes the stop.
Simmons shows up. He made a big play early in the game, busting loose for a touchdown. That's a huge run right there, picking up 8 on first down.
Simmons in relief of Omar Conte, who was in relief of Tyrell Sutton. Both of those guys out with injuries. And some of the faithful that have stayed here for Michigan on what has really been a miserable day.
Miserable.
Temperatures in the 30s.
Miserable is the word.
Yeah.
You can see it.
And they're feeling miserable. This has not been the kind of season that Michigan fans anticipated. Not that many of them thought they'd go to the Rose Bowl or anything, but they're leaving right now because they don't want to witness history. Yeah. This is history. If Michigan loses this game, their first ever 8-loss season.
They didn't have high expectations, but the expectations certainly wasn't this low.
One more game in Columbus next week at high noon. Bachér and company try to kill the last 2 minutes of the game. Simmons gets nothing. Tackled down by Will Johnson and Brandon Graham.
Brandon Graham is a fighter. He will continue to work and get after it. Gets himself a nice tackle for a loss coming from the other side. Michigan using those timeouts. See, they have one left.
Both of these teams running spread offenses. And if this lead holds up, a big if with 2:02 left to go, Northwestern gets its first 8-win season since 2000, and Michigan can do much better than that. As in 129 years, this would be their first 8-loss season. It also would be Northwestern's first win here in the Big House since 1995, when Pat Fitzgerald was one of the best linebackers going.
But you're right when you say this one's far from over, Pam. Michigan with a timeout left, facing a big third down here. 2 minutes, 2 seconds on the clock. They can get the ball back to their offense and try to get down the field and tie this thing up.
But if Northwestern converts here, the going will get obviously a lot tougher for Michigan.
Then it might be over.
That's Rasheed Ward in motion. High snap. Bachér hanging on to it. And doesn't come close. Jonas Mouton with another stop. Bachér actually lost a yard on that play. So we've seen a lot of those third and shorts or third and mediums that Bachér has hung onto him himself, and it hasn't worked out.
And don't forget, Michigan has already blocked one punt today and come close to a couple more. In the last punt that Stephon Demos tried, he lined up 13 yards from the line of scrimmage. And usually you're 14, 15 yards, never 13. That's a mental error for the punter. And we'll take a look at him when he gets back there and see how far he lines up from the line of scrimmage.
Michigan now out of timeouts. Just inside 2 minutes left to go in this ball game. Nick Sheridan has shared quarterbacking with Stephen Threet today.
There's Demos, and he's right about 13 again. Right there's 13 yards from the line of scrimmage. He's too close.
Artavius Odom's back on his 20. Oh boy, Demos with the line driver. It just clears the line. Odoms gets it at full gallop and goes up to the 42-yard line. So only a 33-yard punt and a 15-yard return for Odoms. Michigan in pretty good shape here at the 42.
Great shape. Couldn't have worked out really much better for him. Getting that bad punt. I don't like the soccer-style punt. And Demos, every time he's tried it today, it really hasn't worked for him that much. And they also got the one blocked in that regard. But nevertheless, Michigan has a great opportunity here to finish up senior day with a heroic victory.
That punt netted only 18 yards, the same number as C.J. Baché's jersey, as he's turned into a cheerleader on the sidelines. Sheridan rolling, pumping, going long. He has Odoms behind everybody, and it just is beyond his outstretched fingertips. John Gill with some good pressure on Sheridan.
There's Odoms in the slot. He gets bumped a little bit right there. And I think that bump, Quentin Davey hit him just a little bit. Had he not taken that bump, he would have been in position to make that catch. That's a great job of Quentin Davey. Any guy comes through your zone, put a whack on him, disrupt the timing. It worked well for him there.
So now second down from the 42. Sheridan has Wooten closing on him, and somehow is able to escape and at least get the pass off, but it was too high for Greg Matthews. A reminder that coming up next right here on ESPN2, we'll head down to the Homestead Miami Speedway and NASCAR Sprint Cup Happy Hour as those folks get ready for the final race of the season tomorrow. Be careful, his tongue might stick to that. It's so cold out there.
Bet he's got some warm juice in there.
3rd and 10 now for Michigan. Sheridan throwing long into triple coverage, and that one could have been intercepted. Greg Matthews there in the maize and blue shirt. But a triumvirate of Northwestern defenders were all over it.
And that's just a prayer. This should have been intercepted. When you're going to to throw a ball up for grabs like this, you got to put more air under it so that your receiver can jump up and time the thing and go get it. Nick Sheridan threw that one on too much of a line. He never really even gave his receiver, Greg Matthews, a chance.
Brian Peters had a chance to intercept it, but could not. Here we go, 4th and 10 for the Wolverines. Sheridan throws it out of bounds. Greg Matthews near the first down marker, but he couldn't connect. And Northwestern gets the ball back on downs again.
Northwestern only rushed 3, and they still got pressure on Nick Sheridan. Now, Sheridan should have stepped up into the pocket more and then maybe looked around and try and find somebody, but he just doesn't have that savvy and that experience yet. And he'll get there, but he's not there yet.
Sheridan and Street, the two quarterbacks for Michigan, combining for 12 of 36 for only 83 yards. C.J. Bachér lining up in the old victory formation, their favorite one, and Pat Fitzgerald so emotional. He remembered vividly the last time they won here in '95. I think he'll remember this one for quite a while as well.
Yeah, and he deserves all the credit in the world for taking this football team and putting it together, getting guys who believe, and 8 victories so far with a chance to make it 9, and then in their bowl game they could get to 10.
First time since 2000 they'll win 8 ball games in a season, and the first time ever that Michigan loses 8 games in a season. They have one more, and they're going to play hard. You know that next week down in Columbus.
Yeah, that could be a season saver for them.
So Rich Rodriguez's team goes off the field with the kind of history he did not want to make, and that's the first 8-loss season in the history of this 129-year historic football program. Pat Fitzgerald and company going to get back on the bus, go up to Evanston. They finish their season next week at home against Illinois.
And that will be one happy ride for the Wildcats, and rightly so. They played hard. They came out in the second half, Pam, and really played good football, made adjustments, threw the ball down the field, and got things done. Congratulations to Northwestern.
Boy, particularly in the third quarter, they were outstanding on both sides of the ball. So Northwestern wins it by the final of 21-14. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Northwestern wins its 8th game of the season. For Ray Bentley and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Pam Ward. As we say so long from rainy, snowy Ann Arbor, Northwestern wins it by 7. Let's go to Homestead, Florida now in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Happy Hour.